This is a film for all of you film weirdos out there. When I say film weirdos, you know exactly what kind of people I'm talking about. The artsy people that just like this random, creepy, insane bullshit. And you know what? I think I might be one of them. So I just got to see Kind of Kindness, the brand new film from Yorgos Lanthimos. And if you're thinking, Yorgos Lanthimos, didn't he just release a movie like not that long ago? Well, yes, he did. 6 months ago, he released Poor Things, which starred Emma Stone, was a big movie of last year. Probably the second biggest movie when it comes to awards season. It was a big nominee for Best Picture. It obviously won Best Actress at the Oscars for Emma Stone. Yorgos is a director that makes a very specific kind of movie. And Poor Things was kind of a departure from that style. Not entirely. Poor Things was still a very weird movie, but it was a movie that was definitely in tuned more to target kind of that Oscar audience, more so the film general audiences, less so than many of his other films that just go fully head deep into this insane style of film that he makes. But films like Killing of the Sacred Deer, The Lobster, The Favorite, those movies are very specific in how they play out with its dialogue, its themes, and the way they all kind of feel anticlimactic in a way. And for some people, they really love that. They love the uniqueness, they love everything about what Yorgos has to offer, and other people, it just doesn't really work for. Me personally, I've never been a fan of a lot of his movies. I really loved Poor Things, I enjoy The Favorite, but his movies just lack something, lack an emotional essence to it that I just don't connect to, but I appreciate his filmmaking. Now, Kind of Kindness is a return to what he used to make. It's a return to The Lobster type of filmmaking, less so than what Poor Things was. This is a movie that I will never recommend to any friend of mine that's a general movie watcher. I will never show it to my family, and I just will never recommend it to general audiences because they will hate this thing. But for me, I think I love this movie. I think I loved everything about it, to be completely honest. So what is Kind of Kindness? Well, it is a 2-hour and 40-minute long anthology film, which sounds insane. And it is. So what the film is it's 3 kind of like short films. And these films, in and of itself, all 3 of them feel like their own movies. They don't feel like short films. They feel like fully fledged out films. You feel like you're watching 3 movies here, which I really appreciate, because a lot of anthology films, you feel like 1 or 2 of the stories might be kind of smaller, and then there's one standout. This one, all 3 feel big, fleshed out, and they all are memorable. Throughout these 3 stories, we have the same actors playing different categories. Who are those actors? Well, of course, you have Emma Stone, back again, who is just constantly working with Yorgos. You have Jesse Plemons, who's truly the star of this film. He leads 2 of the short stories, and he is absolutely incredible in this movie. I also thought Margaret Qualley was a standout in a lot of these stories. You get Hong Chow in the movie. Hunter Schafer is heavily marketed for this movie. She's in one scene, so don't get excited to see Hunter Schafer. She doesn't do anything in this film. Willem Dafoe is Willem Dafoe. He's awesome. He's great. If you like Willem Dafoe, he is awesomely amazing in this film. Awesomely amazing. This film is visually stunning. I mean, the cinematography in this movie is something I want to talk about first, because all 3 of these stories kind of follow the same kind of attention to detail in the symmetry, in like the composition of all the shots. There's a really beautiful shot early in the movie of Jesse Plemons standing looking outside of a skyscraper, and just the way everything is framed, it feels so kind of like not of this world. There's something about the film that feels alien in a way. Although it takes place in a modern world, the whole time I feel like I'm watching a different reality. And that's really by the cinematography. The cinematography here is very on point, on the nose. It's very intricate and direct in what it's trying to do, and it's beautiful to look at. This is one of the best looking movies of the year. I also think the overall theme of this movie, although at first it's kind of hard to explain, it's kind of hard to understand, I still feel like I don't understand what most of this movie was trying to say, but the overall theme this movie is trying to put of like trying to seek acceptance. All 3 of these stories are about characters in some shape or form trying to get acceptance from another human being. Whereas the first story, we follow Jesse Plemons as he's kind of like in this weird cult relationship with his boss that kind of owns his life and controls his life. And when he's cut off from that boss, he's just trying to find a way back into that role, back into his life. He can't live without it. The second story, you follow Jesse Plemons, who's a cop whose wife has been missing, and when she finally returns, he feels like it's not actually her, that he's been duped, that it's a mystery face shifter or something. And throughout that whole story, she's trying to seek his approval, trying to gain his trust. The third story is more directly kind of about a cult, where Emma Stone's character is sort of trying to get be brought back into this kind of community that she had found. All 3 of these stories are very different in the actual base story that's taking place, but they all still feel similar in their insanely weird dialogue choices, their insanely weird visual style, some of the just mind-bendingly dumb stuff the characters are doing. It's dry humor, but most importantly, just the actual themes. I came away from each story feeling the same kind of emptiness, this sense of emptiness that we all kind of fight for something, and when we get it, there's kind of a sense of anticlimactic. There's kind of like a weird anticlimactic sense when you're at the end of achieving a goal. That's kind of what I felt from this movie. I don't know if that's what he's going for, because yet again, this movie's fucking weird, man. This is one of those movies where at least 6, 7, 8 times something would randomly happen on the screen, and I would audibly laugh and say, what the fuck? What am I watching? At least 6, 7, maybe even 10 times. And I love stuff like that. I love when movies are just so weird and they catch me off guard and I throw up I don't even know what I'm watching anymore. Throw up my hands. What am I even watching? And it's so entertaining, and that's the one thing I can say about this film. Even if you don't get it at all, even if you don't like this style, something about this film is so damn entertaining from start to finish. From literally minute 1 to 2 hours and 40 minutes in, I was hooked, I was immersed. I was scared going into this movie, a near 3-hour Yorgos film, that's an anthology film. I thought I was going to fall asleep during it just because I do not connect with much of his style. I found myself to be very, very immersed in every beat of this film. I was thoroughly entertained, even if I was just laughing at some of the dumb shit in this movie. This film is so unironically hilarious, sometimes very much intentionally hilarious. I laughed very hard at this film multiple times. Maybe the hardest I've laughed at a movie all year. There's a dance sequence in particular at some point in the film where just the cut to the dance is brilliant. It's just so stupid, but so brilliant. And it's just a movie that I really appreciate. This is one I don't think I'm ever going to watch again, just because it's so bizarre. And one thing about Yorgos films, a lot of them have them in common, maybe not so much Poor Things, but a lot of his other films, is that they kind of set up an interesting concept of a story. They set up an interesting idea, and his payoffs to those ideas and those setups and those concepts are never satisfying. And I think that might be the point, but it's just all three of these stories kind of set up something that in a typical film, it's like, that's an interesting concept. I'd like to see where this goes, how this resolves itself. And in all three of them, it's just like, okay, that's where they're ending it. All right, I'm cool with that. But it becomes satisfying when you really think about it, because if you think about the themes and what the movie's actually about, and then it's like, yeah, well, that's the only way you could do it. I think the third story definitely has the best ending of the three. The third one, the ending is hilarious. But I just wanted to point that out there. It's one of the reasons I don't think general audiences will like this movie, because they might really grab onto a mystery in the plot. They might grab onto one of the concepts put out by Yorgos and just feel so kind of like, what? When it's, when it comes to a conclusion, and you didn't really get anything answered. Another thing I want to mention, the music in this movie. The music choices of the songs they use in different scenes, brilliant. And then the actual score here, very simple. It's a very simplistic score. It's really just a piano, usually one instrument at a time, but it's used very, very well. It's used sparingly, and when it is used, it enhances every scene of the movie to create tension, suspense, to create a kind of goofy moment. It's done very well. It reminded me, Yorgos has a short film that I got to see at a film festival last year called Bleat. It is a silent film that he made with Emma Stone, and because it's a silent film, the only thing you have is music, and we watched that movie with an orchestra, and the orchestra and the soundtrack for that movie sounds very similar to what this movie has to offer, and I like it in both. It was very unique and very, very good. Overall, though, this is an enjoyable movie. Yet again, never gonna watch it again. Not gonna recommend it to you if you're a general movie watcher. You're not gonna like this movie at all. But if you're one of those sick assholes out there that love weird shit, that love these weird movies that just bend your mind and are so dumb that you just can't help but laugh, or if you're somebody that just likes to go to a movie theater with a pen and paper and break down every scene and try to understand a movie like it's the frickin' Matrix and you're like some physicist, you're like Oppenheimer building the atom bomb, if that's you with with breaking down movies and understanding cinema literature, then this is also your movie. And if you're somebody like me, just looking to have fun at the movies, and you like everything, go see this. I will give Kind of Kindness a 4 out of 5. It was definitely an entertaining film experience that I would not trade for anything else. I had such a fun time with this. Thank you guys for watching. Please make sure to like, subscribe for more. Turn on notifications. I post every single day. I'll see you guys in the next one.